Today is a huge celebration. I am so thankful for all of you guys that keep watching because this is the 10th episode of Brunchin with Britt. And we're getting crazy. I have Maddie, who's actually been on the show for her 3rd time now.
And I was on the first episode.
She was on the first episode, and now she is on the 10th one. And we have a newcomer, Dan, who I think will fit in perfectly. Welcome to Brunchin with Britt, guys.
Thank you so much, Britt.
So first, I would like you guys to go to your camera and tell people where they can follow you guys at on social media.
Perfect. You want to go?
Oh, yes. Well, ladies first, of course.
Of course.
We can find me on the Instagram at Dan Babig and visit my website, not-basic.com.
Love it. So
I love
basic.
people that aren't basic because me and Maddie are basic sometimes.
Very.
We do basic things.
I'm a hot basic mess. And
Yes.
you guys can follow me on Instagram at Maddie Says This.
And how we love to get the conversation started with a cheers.
Cheers
to 10.
And eye contact when you cheers
Because then you
don't
have
want
bad sex for the rest of your life. That's
I
what
told
they
you,
say.
he would fit right in,
I
guys.
know. That's what they say.
I'll drink
Now,
for you.
You can
Dan
drink.
is not drinking
I
at
know.
this time,
Isn't that-
so luckily he's sitting in between
Hey,
Maddie and me,
about
so
to
he'll
get
take
crazy.
Woo!
This is what brings better content, so I'm all
Exactly.
here
It
for
really
I'll
it.
take
does,
another
yeah.
step. More
Mind
content,
you,
right?
on the very first episode, Maddie did twerk, so maybe we will get a twerk out of her today. I don't know. Is that a squirt or a skirt?
Well, I've got a romper or bodysuit on.
Oh, cool. So we might see a twerk later.
You won't see up my hoo-ha.
Which
The
brings us
vajay.
to our topic today.
Yes,
we are talking about.
Dan knows all about
I know.
vaginas.
I was just clapping. I was like, vaginas. And I was like, wait, no. I don't really like vaginas. No offense.
Get 'em
Yeah.
away.
Wait, have you ever been inside a vagina to start?
No, I've never been inside a vagina.
okay.
Yeah, like actually, I'm an A+ gay, which
Okay.
means I've never slept with a woman, and
Okay.
I was born via a C-section because they say if you know.
So you've never
I
came
never
out of
came
a
out of a
vagina?
vagina. I said I'm not coming
You
out
know
of there.
nothing about vaginas.
I said I'm not coming out of the. I'm not coming out of it. I said cut me out, or otherwise I'm staying in here. I'm not jumping through the vagina to come into the world.
So that's an A+.
That's an
gay.
A+, a gold star gay. No, a gold star gay. I'm a gold star gay. Because I was like, Mum, I'm not. You have to cut me out. I am not jumping through that little hole. I'm not doing
I'm
it.
not going
refused.
out and
He
I'm not coming in.
refused.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it
Okay.
started.
Well,
Yeah,
cheers
so.
to that. You know,
Cheers.
you have been you since birth, literally.
I have, exactly.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
And
I
they
like
say
that.
people
Yeah.
aren't born gay.
I know. I'm like, oh, ugh, I can't even think about a vagina.
Don't.
But we can talk
Let's
about it.
talk
today.
about peen or leaner.
Well, me and Maddie do know about penises.
Oh, good.
A lot
So we
about
do, and we also
penises.
know about vaginas because we have them. So
I still actually don't know. I'm confused because I've never really seen that nether region. I'm like, do women have 2 holes or is there 3 holes there? Because I know there's one where the penis go. It's like, I don't
Well,
know.
there's 2 holes that a penis can go into.
I'm confused.
Well,
Gooch and a butthole.
Because there's a.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know. Isn't
Women
there
do have 3 holes. 1, 2, 3.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, is there the poo poo hole? Then you have a wee wee hole? Is it two different
We
holes?
have a pee hole.
A pee hole.
But I actually think the pee hole actually is
We
two
doing an
little. The
anatomy
pee hole has 2 little holes.
Yeah, your bladder and...
No, the pee hole does. The pee
Oh.
hole is 2 tiny little holes. That's why sometimes when you pee, it's like it doesn't come out super straight.
I am learning so
You're
much
welcome.
today.
Oh.
Thanks for tuning in, guys, because we are going to teach you all about sex today.
Sex, baby.
Baby.
Let's talk about
you and me.
Let's talk about
All the good things
and the bad things that could be. Let's talk about sex. And speaking of the bad things, the main topic of our conversation today is actually going to be STDs and most importantly, STD checks. So I actually recently saw something on the news that said that thanks to Hot Girl Summer, it didn't specifically say that, but
God, I was like,
thanks
Megan
to
missed
Hot
it.
Girl Summer, STDs are at an all-time high. They're on the
no.
rise, but obviously us women are not just having sex with ourselves, we're having sex with men, and the study said that 2/3 of women get tested twice a year versus most men actually do not get tested unless they're burning or something. Like unless they feel a symptom, they're not getting tested. But women just, whether they're getting a symptom or having a symptom or not, they are getting tested. Why do you guys think that is? Why are men so, I don't know if it's afraid or so like,
Afraid.
Can I go first?
yes,
Yeah.
please.
Okay, so I believe, because I'm a very avid getting tested type person.
Which is why we became friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
I truly believe that guys or women get tested more because we carry babies. So if you get some sort of STD, it could
even things like chlamydia and stuff like that. Yes,
it
is curable, but if a woman's had it for too long,
Yeah.
it actually can make them
it could
sterile.
be detrimental, and you can't have babies.
Yeah.
And like that would be the most heartbreaking news if that was your plan in life.
Right.
Guys, fear is the number one thing. If you don't see it, like see
didn't
no
happen,
evil,
yeah.
hear no evil,
Yeah.
you know,
And it's
that
really
kind of
interesting.
evil.
I was like, oh my God, is this like an intervention for me today to go and get tested? Because I
Get
have not.
tested.
I haven't been tested in like 2 years, maybe 2.5 years.
Would you use a condom
is-
every time?
No, not every time.
Which is interesting
Yeah.
because so me and Madison actually became friends really. Like we worked together for a while and we kind of became friends because we realized we both went to the same testing center. And we actually shout out to the LGBTQ center in West Hollywood because that's where we go. And it's just like, it's a no judgment zone.
Yep.
People are really nice there. They have great facilities. Everything's super clean and super modern and nice and stuff.
And
but every time I go there, it's all males in there. I've never seen even though it's like, it's for lesbian women, gay, anybody, they don't really care what you are or whatever. But every time I go there, it's a bunch of guys and then just me. So I feel like gay men are kind of more
Privy to getting tested.
yes than straight men are, and I'm like confused.
Oh, I
by
think it's
that.
because of the whole HIV and AIDS thing. Because obviously, if you're going in the other direction, there's more because of the blood. I think there's more of a chance of you getting AIDS, and especially with everything that happened in the 80s with the AIDS epidemic. Like when I talk to older gay men about people losing 3/4 of their friends in that time, it was like a whole different world that we don't even really think about or know about. But it's it is. More prevalent in the gay community because of the way we have sex.
Okay, well, I find that interesting though, because like a vagina is like literally you go inside this hole, but there's a whole world in there.
Oh,
There's a
Ollie
whole
got
world
his
in there.
first look
You've
at a
never
vagina.
seen it,
a
but
whole
there is a
new
world.
world. Yeah.
Wow. Hey,
We
down,
are
down.
just a sing-along today, aren't we?
We are.
Yeah.
But there's really women can contract stuff a lot easier than men can. So like,
I mean, let's
hate
put it
the
this way. It's an
culture of
incubator. Like think a baby sits in there and grows. STDs, infections,
yeast
everything
grows in there.
You can make a
Everything
loaf
grows
of
in
bread.
there.
Like, this
a
is just
loaf
an
of
oven
bread
to
or
cook
beer
things.
can come out of our vagina.
And things can stay in there for a while. Like I've heard of like when people put stuff up there for sexual pleasure and then they can't get it out.
Yeah. that
Condoms
is-
have gotten stuck up there. People have lost tampons and everything. Like there's
it is a
crazy
cave.
stories that you hear. So I kind
Cave
of
of
like I think
wonders.
for straight men, I hate this like narrative that they believe that HIV is like a gay man's disease because it's really I think that was the assumption back in the day,
Yeah.
but it's not like really women are actually the most like they can get HIV the easiest or guys who are who are not circumcised because they also have like the flap stuff can sit in there and like instead of just like
ruminate.
it's just wiping off it can stay in a place
Oh.
Yeah.
so they actually can get it.
I also
a lot
think
easier, too.
for straight males anyways, because if we're seeing a majority of gay males at the clinic, maybe it's their ego is not there. I feel like straight men, again, ego is everything. Like, I don't have anything, and if I do have something, you gave it to me. Like, I've had that happen before where a guy blamed it on me. I was like, you're the one I've had sex with, like, the fuck?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Sorry.
well, I mean, that's what the whole thing was. Like, literally, when I saw the post about the STDs and it's higher thing than ever, everybody in the comments were like, oh, it's because you females wanted to have a hot girl summer. But I'm like, but where did we get it from? Where did we get
Yeah,
our STDs
exactly.
from?
And, like,
you're dirty.
Honestly, they say, like, when you have sex with one person, you're having sex with everyone they've had sex with.
Yeah.
Okay, true.
Unless they've gotten tested and you kind
yeah,
of.
and I'm very pro condom. If I've gotten to a point with a man that I feel safe enough to not, then I don't. I use another form of contraception, but
I don't
condoms all
use
the way.
Any birth control, so I tell guys that's actually the best form of birth control is to tell a guy that you don't use birth control. He will put a condom on so fast. Because I'm like,
I guess.
well, I don't use birth control, so if I get pregnant, I'm having a baby. I've told guys
am
that they're
having
like,
this baby.
hold
Yeah,
on,
exactly,
I'll
yeah.
be right back. I'll go to the store right now.
You're like,
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, now I know that they're getting really close to mastering the science of, for men, like a male version of the pill. So, because it's not fair that
thank
you
God.
guys, you women
you
for so
guys
many
have
years.
all those issues.
Yeah, I think it's about time the men can take a pill and you girls can just relax and have fun and not have to worry about it.
Toast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you, And like I just said, like if I'm comfortable enough with a person that I trust, then I'll take the condom away. But if you, like you said, you don't usually use a, or you have not used a condom
It's
sometimes,
both. It's
is this when you're
sometimes
with
and sometimes
someone
not.
serious?
No,
or?
no. I think we've had a conversation before. I think that's one good thing is that everyone kind of has a conversation now about it beforehand.
Which I love, but I hate when I ask a guy, like, have you been tested? They're like, what? What do you mean? I'm like, I've got my results right here. I can show you that I am clean as a
think in
whistle.
the gay community, like, it's very, it's not frowned upon. Like, it's
Yeah.
something to discuss. Because there's this whole other big thing about, like, I didn't even know this, and people are probably going to say, oh, you're like so uninformed. But like, I didn't know you can be like HIV positive but undetectable.
Yeah, that's like
means-
HPV.
Yeah, but it means so even if you were to have unprotected sex with someone whose HIV is undetectable, they actually technically.
That's
Well, and
herpes,
there's-
that's HIV, that's HPV. I mean,
Yeah.
there are things that are,
with
yeah.
HIV. One of the great things about it now is that and especially for people who have either been raped or whatever, just randomly had a fun night, and then next day they're like, oh shit, whatever. When you go to like a clinic or something, they can actually give you this thing called Post, and it's actually a pill that you would take for 30 days, kind of like a
Like a Z-Pack?
no, well, yeah, kind of, I guess. It's more like a like what you
Antibiotic?
take for when you think you're going to be pregnant, like a
Plan B?
like a Plan B, but
Yep.
for HIV. So if you think that the person may have had HIV or like you had unprotected sex or whatever, they give you it, you take it for 30 days, and you will not get HIV.
Oh
it's
my
like
God, I
it's
had
like
no
a 80 or
idea.
90%.
Did you learn about this at the center?
Yeah, and
Oh.
then there's also a thing now, obviously, called PrEP. So if
Yeah.
if you have HIV, you can take it, and your partner can take it prior to you having sex. It doesn't work for 30 days or whatever. So you guys take it for 30 days before, and then after that, you guys can have unprotected sex without you getting the chance of getting an STI. We are schooling
Oh, wow.
Dan
Do you know what's
today.
so funny?
I love it.
You
He's
know
only
that-
25. He's
Oh
only
my
25.
God.
We're a little bit.
No.
Well, if you would have went to the clinic in the last 2 years, you might have learned this.
I know,
Dan.
do you know,
we
I know-
are teaching
I am
you.
gonna go. You
Maddie
You
is
need
gonna-
to get the follow my health right
Yeah,
now.
there we go, there we
which
go.
is
Look
the
at
next
for
thing I
tomorrow.
was going to say.
Yeah,
is
I'm gonna
because
follow
a
it,
lot
yeah.
of times people say, "Oh yeah, I got tested, whatever," but they have to call their doctor to get the results or whatever. What I do like now, because it's 2019,
With the phone, yeah.
is they actually have a app, which we both have,
Follow
called
My
Follow
Health.
My Health,
Yeah.
and it literally will say the last time you got tested, all the things you got tested for, and what your results were. So you can literally prior to having sex with somebody, you could be like, I'm clean, I whatever, and like how she was saying earlier, I can show them on the app and be like, negative, negative, negative. This is the date I got tested.
That's so
Yeah.
good.
Which is so
Which is amazing. I was
good
gonna show you the
because
stop
when you're
sign
in
and
the
all
heat
that
of the
shit.
moment and it's late at night, it's not. I can't call
And
my doctor
maybe you've
tonight
had a few
until
of the,
And where's my
my
paperwork?
doctor,
Yeah.
or look up your paperwork that you
Yeah.
have in your file at home.
That's so
No,
good.
you can literally pull it up on the app and be like, here's my results, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is amazing. And I think that should be a plus for everyone to just get tested and just like,
easy.
oh, I can show
Yeah.
you
Like
this.
right
I'm
there.
so gonna
Everyone
do
should
that,
have
And
yeah.
an app.
honestly, when you for girls anyways, when I've gone to get tested, they give you your swabs for vaginal and rectal. You swab. If you want to get your blood test for HIV, it's quick, and then
They'll
you
do
do a
your
mouth
throat,
swab,
yeah.
and you're out within 45
15 minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I literally
45 max.
Yeah.
15 quickest. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like
wow.
super in and out.
and I think some people, especially with females, like they don't want to have to go through. Like guys just pee in a cup, but women have to get like an actual
Yeah,
exam
so
almost.
Yeah.
And
Because
put
there's a
their
whole new
feet on
world.
the
There's a whole
stirrup
world there.
and
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
There's an easy bake oven right here.
Yes.
But
You want a
with,
cookie?
with
I
this,
do.
you kind of do it yourself. You swab yourself
Oh my
and
God.
put it in a little thing, and they send it off, and
Yeah.
you'll get your results on the app within 3 to 5 days.
Now, question for you guys.
Yeah.
Have you asked someone that you maybe were talking to for an extended period of time to, before you guys had sex, get tested and show the results?
I have with some pushback. It's very sad because
Keyword,
like
pushback.
Yeah.
the guys will be like, well, what do you have? What's and I'll be like,
Exactly.
here's on my app.
Why is that the question to
Yeah.
follow? What do you have? I don't have anything, but I don't know what you may have.
Right,
And
yeah.
I'm just being a smart, consenting adult. So I'm not going to consent until I see results.
One guy told
Yeah.
me, well, I don't like needles, babe. I don't like what?
What?
Where
That's
are
like
you
a
going
child.
to get tested,
Yeah.
dude? Like, no,
You
don't
don't
get
like
a
needles? Freaking get tested. Or well, you know what? I don't like to get a disease. So either you get tested or we're not. And
This
like
is not
guys
happening.
are so.
Now it sounds like we're bashing guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because granted,
I
there
mean, I
might
do
be
sometimes.
female couples that don't like to get tested, but
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is our experience. So,
But yeah, and I was just kind of going to the point that the news article had made about 2/3 of women getting tested twice a year versus men only getting tested when they're having symptoms. But actually, on the flip side, I will talk about negatively about a female perspective. I actually have a girl friend, she's not really my friend anymore, that I know, and she actually she thinks guys have stuff if a guy wants to use a condom. So she never uses a condom when she has sex.
Oh, wow.
what?
And
Wow,
she
yeah.
randomly,
Who is this?
she randomly hooks up with like people off, like, you know, she's a
Like a Tinder-esque woman.
yeah, she tenders, she Raya's, whatever all those dating apps are.
This is
and
giving
she'll
me
meet
anxiety.
people and hook up with them that night. And she actually feels uncomfortable if they want to use a condom because
wow.
she feels like if a guy wants to use a condom, that means he has something. And I'm like, so I just don't understand it because I'm like, if he's putting a condom on, maybe that's because he's trying to be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
like,
he's
you
reckless
should
if
be
he's
worried
not.
about the
Yeah.
guy that is recklessly having unprotected sex with you when he just met you 3 hours ago. Like,
yeah, that's probably.
I have
which
questions
that would
too.
never
I don't
cross
have
my
answers.
mind. Have
but
you ever like had that experience where a guy wanted to use a condom and you're like, no?
No, yes. Yeah, so I'd be lying. No, because it's like, it's kind of, it's like, yeah. No, because it's kind of like, it's like hotter.
So
like
you're
if it's-
my girlfriend, basically, that I was talking about.
No, but it's kind of like hotter. I don't know why, but I don't know why. I find it more satisfying and more sexual when it's skin to skin, you know.
Yeah.
So if I know they're safe and they're putting on a condom, and it's like, you almost think, well, it's like, well, you told me you were safe. You told me you were tested, but now you're putting a condom on. So, because obviously I don't have the whole pregnant thing. And if I was to fall pregnant, that'd be fucking fabulous.
Yeah, that's
Like
50% of the battle there.
Yeah, I mean, like, that would be cool because, like, you know, I'm a man, and if I had a baby, I think that'd be the first one.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe, or maybe one of
I
the first
haven't checked all
ones.
the records.
Yeah,
but
but I think I would be the first, well, that was biologically born as a man to have a baby. So I was like, I kind of hope that happening. And then it's like, oh, I'd rather just feel the actual dick rather without the layer. I don't know, it's more hot. It's like,
I will agree with that.
Yeah, I think
But
it's
when
more
it's
hot.
like the first few times, I'm like, rubber.
Rubber, yeah, I guess
Let's
I
burn
prefer
that
the
rubber.
Burn
Yeah,
some rubber,
burn
baby.
some rubber, yeah.
Feeling like racetrack
But like
today.
our burning rubber's like, okay, let's burn some rubber. Come on.
Oh, yeah, that's the same as me, yeah. I was like,
Get on top.
Yeah, tie me up. I love that. Tie me up so I can't move.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to do anything.
Okay, I did want to ask this too. What is kind of your consenting process? Like, we were like, okay, are you tested? Blah, 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 put on a condom. On your side of things, like, what is your kind of consenting process? Or is it just like, I like you, let's go?
I like you, let's go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very, like, do you know what's funny? I joke, well, now I only have, now that I'm not drinking, I only have sex like 4 times a year since I've stopped drinking.
Okay.
Because it's like, you know, because I would go out and get drunk.
Wait,
and
you
then,
said you've been sober for 3 months though.
Yeah, so I've only had sex once in the.
So he's doing it by.
But yeah,
Okay,
I'm doing it
yeah.
by years, yeah.
Okay,
I only
okay,
been, I haven't
okay.
drank for 3 months, but I was like,
Sorry.
I probably only have like, do you know what I mean? I noticed that, like, when I stopped, because when I get drunk, I will fuck anyone. Like,
It is actually funny you said that because our
Yeah.
camera guy Dave earlier was asking me a question and
Hey,
he
Dave.
said, "When's the last time that you had sex sober?" And I couldn't remember. And he's like, "As adults, we just, even if it's just you're having a couple glasses of wine,
You gotta have
we
something.
don't like, you don't actually be like, oh, come here, like have this like
Yeah.
you don't have that like desire to just
Yeah.
want to hook up and not have a drink in you."
For the, yeah.
Especially the first time you're hooking up with somebody.
Nope.
Is what, yeah.
And sober sex? Not since I was 15 in high school.
yeah. But it is
She is also not condoning all of you young guys drinking underage.
Yes.
I was sober.
If
That
you-
was the last time I had sober sex was when I lost my virginity.
How old were you? 15?
15.
I was a late bloomer because a gay guy. I was 19. Can you believe that?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was 16, pretty average.
But you know, actually, that's an interesting question because I used to love asking that question at parties because I'm an open book. Like, oh, when did you lose your virginity? But then, maybe it's an outlier, but then I had a girl just burst into tears at the party. And I'm like, what a fucking idiot. But like, she was... No. I'm like, what a free
And
jerk
he
type.
says it so kindly.
No, but it was like, I was like, oh my God, like maybe she'd been raped. So
Oh
now I
God,
don't
oh.
ask that question anymore. Like,
Yeah, no,
I used to
no.
always ask that question, and then I was like, oh, and then someone said, well, I was like, oh, I was making fun of her afterwards, and thinking, oh,
Yeah.
like, come on, it's New Year's Eve, or like, it's funny. and we were drinking, but I was like, oh, like, gotta be careful. We're like,
Yeah.
is that
Yeah.
crazy?
And that was part 1 of why he doesn't drink anymore.
Yeah, that's part one.
Exactly.
Part one of many. Yeah, part one of there's a whole book on that.
I'm on like part 2017, and I still haven't put down the cup.
Yep.
Yeah.
That brings up a really good point, because high school, they do sex ed, but it's not in depth. They make getting tested look frowned upon. They make it seem like, oh, you're dirty.
Right.
You shouldn't have sex ever. And I feel like maybe it's changing. I'm not sure, but I really honestly did not feel comfortable getting tested, talking about getting tested, until I was literally, I got tested in college, but to feel very comfortable, not till I was like 23. And that's really, I've done almost 10 years of having sex and not feeling comfortable about like, oh, like STDs are bad, getting tested is gross. Like I would have my sister drive me in college to the testing center and drive me back. And people would be like, where are you going? I'm like, oh, I just have a quick little doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
Oh, what's wrong? Just cough.
And
Like,
then
you shouldn't have
mind
to lie
you, the
about
day
that.
we became really good friends, you were like, oh, I'm gonna go get tested, so I gotta leave work early. And I was like, oh my gosh, where do you get tested? I go to the LGBT, and you're like, me too. And then we're both like, Tony, we love Tony. He's our favorite guy there. And then we became, and I did too. And then that's how we became friends. So I think it's interesting. I always I got on birth control before I even lost my virginity. I was so but I didn't have my mom died when I was 13. So I didn't have anybody to teach me women stuff. So I always God bless Planned Parenthood. They saved my life when I was younger, I didn't have any insurance or whatever. And I was able to go there and not worry about money. And I could get my annual exams or get tested when I needed to, or get condoms if I needed them. And everything was free. I was never asked any questions. It was never an issue. And so I always felt very comfortable going there.
Yeah.
Which is a huge issue right now with Planned Parenthood because it's under a lot of fire.
Yeah, they've recently had some stuff with the abortion issues and stuff like that. So
but I feel like Planned Parenthood makes it just so
comfortable for you to be your choice.
For you, but testing should be a part of your regular health regimen.
It should be.
Yeah.
If you're having sex, you should be getting tested.
yeah,
and there
exactly.
shouldn't be this negative stigma you have something, you're dirty, why do you need to get tested if you don't have anything? My rule is if I have sex with someone and I'm too drunk and I don't remember if we used a condom, or I use a condom because I'm too drunk, or I don't use a condom because
Or you can use a condom every time, but you kind of just don't know.
Fluids are going around. You want to get your mouth swabbed.
And you want to be careful.
We go to the
and
dentist every
sometimes-
6 months, so
why shouldn't we be getting
Even
this?
though you brush your teeth every day, you're still going to the dentist every 6 months, right?
Yeah.
So why not get tested?
Yeah, I feel the stigma needs to be broken down, because it's just for everyone that is getting STDs, because they're on the rise.
They're on the rise because people are not getting tested and they're not talking to their partners about it.
And it's weird because we've never had as much awareness, and we've never had such accessibility towards getting tested.
It's free
and
anywhere
it's
you
still the
go.
highest it's ever been.
Yeah.
I actually was dating this guy, and we had sex. We had been dating off and on for a long time, and so I was kind of comfortable having unprotected sex with them. I never do that. She knows I always talk about always wear a condom or whatever. And I didn't. Obviously, alcohol was involved.
Yeah.
But after, I was super paranoid. Oh my gosh, you have to get tested and da da da. And immediately I went to get tested a week later. But obviously, if he had something and I'm getting tested a week later, I technically could not know. I could have got tested and not know that I still had something because it might have not shown up yet.
Yeah.
So I wanted him to get tested too. And I told him to go to the LGBT clinic. He's not gay or anything like that, and he felt very comfortable. He went there.
Oh, good.
He ended up actually donating a lot of money to them.
Oh, wow.
And he just was I felt so comfortable going there, and I learned so much, and I appreciate you telling me. But if I wouldn't have had that conversation with him, and I just would have went on my own and then never said anything to him about it, I wouldn't have then created that energy in him to feel like he felt comfortable to go to stuff like that and to get tested and know his status.
Yeah, because I was just advocating yes, go every 6 months like a dentist, and I'm well, I haven't been for 2.5 years.
Yeah,
you were
and I'm gonna go, and I'm scared, and I was oh, it was so interesting because I'm actually scared to go, even though I think it will be fine. But I was
I'll go with you. I'll go get tested with you.
No, now my balls are itchy since we started talking about this. I'm like literally like my balls are like so
And
itchy.
there is a comedic relief. Thank you,
Yeah,
Dan
I was like
Babic.
since we started doing it, like my balls are so itchy.
Is that what happens when you get?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I feel so itchy. Like,
I feel sweaty.
yeah.
Maybe you just have jock itch.
Yeah, I
'Cause
think
the
it's
sweat.
the sweat. Yeah, I think because like when you get nervous, my balls get really sweaty, and then it's like, and then yeah.
And it creates an itch.
Created-
But
yeah.
check that out.
Check that out. Yeah.
I want to get that checked. I'll go with you.
Yeah, you can go with me. Yeah.
I won't examine it. I'll
That's
just be there
what
to
you guys
Yeah.
should do.
Thank you
Everyone
very much.
go
Yeah.
find a partner to go get tested with. You
Yeah.
know, if you feel uncomfortable going by yourself, find a friend. You guys go together, get tested together, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be a boo or anything like that. Just take one of your friends that you feel comfortable with and go get tested, because it is clearly we're at an all-time high for STDs and stuff like that. So
Well, remember that whole thing about Coachella?
Oh,
I think
Coachella,
it ended up being like wrong, but when Coachella, like the first weekend, was like, herpes is at an extreme high after Coachella
yeah, they had
weekend
the
one.
highest outbreak of
Yeah, the
herpes
highest
or
outbreak of
whatever.
herpes, yeah, which was wild. But I think it ended up being, I think TMZ might have blown it up a little too much.
Yeah.
But even still,
But,
like,
yeah.
you know,
I'm really, after this like conversation, I'm really craving sex. Like talking about sex, I'm like,
God, I'm so sorry.
I'm like, I really need to have sex, and I really need to get that itchy ball sorted.
and then follow your health,
Yeah, and follow my
because
yeah.
then it'll give you your results and you can be like, oh,
Rapid.
that should be a new thing. Like, oh, if you don't have my health, then I'm not having sex with you
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah, oh my God, we should do the ads.
I mean,
for
you only
that.
have sex 4 times a year, so
4
it
times a
shouldn't
year.
be that hard.
I know.
So,
They,
good for
they-
you. But
you have
thank
time
you.
to tell them to get tested before your next round of sex, right?
I know. I'm like, oh my God. Now I'm just thinking about like, I'm really attracted to old men. I'm just like thinking about having sex with these like old, like grey-headed men.
he means like daddies.
Daddies.
Not like old
like
grandpa.
zaddies.
Zaddies.
Dad.
So, me and Maddie are still single, and we are tested. So,
And
You
I'm
can
still-
mingle safely.
if anyone wants to safely mingle with us,
all
head
cameras.
to the comment section below. You also know Maddie's Instagram, so you guys can follow her on Instagram.
At Maddie says
If
this.
you want your balls to itch, you can follow Dan.
Dan Babic. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's just like because I did a little bit of a shave a week ago. It's probably
Oh,
that.
it's probably the hair
It's probably,
growth.
yeah, it's probably that. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll let you know if I'm what my status is. So
Yes.
follow me at Dan Babic to figure out what my status is, and
He
then
will
we can.
post his results on his
Online.
Instagram
Yes.
feed.
Yes.
Yes.
Then we can-
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you.
tuning in
Thank
and
you,
coming
Britt.
for Brunchin with Britt. Make sure you guys subscribe, like this video, share it with all your friends or share with your boo so they can get tested as well.
One last thing to say.
Yes. Say it, girl.
Safe sex is great sex.
Yay.
In the words of Lil Wayne.
And words of Lil Wayne, we are going to cheers out.
Safe sex
Cheers
is
to
great
that.
sex.
Oh,
Woo!
good, just get-
Woo!